Happy Wednesday, everybody, and welcome to Malts and Meeples. No malts today. Still doing, I'm doing well after having a very mild case of strep, but I wanted to just make sure that I was doing really well before I started having another drink again. Finish up the antibiotics that I'm on. So next week there will be malts again. But we are starting a new game. Chronicles of Drunagor, Age of Darkness. And I've gone over the rules some. I've watched a video or two on it. I've watched some gameplay on it, so I know what's going on. But we're going to be using this Start Here manual to really determine what we're going to do in this game. Which, let's pop on down to the table. Let's see if how much that blocks. I just did. That blocks it a tiny bit too much. So we're going to leave the door sitting there and look at our setup. This is our first map, and you can see it is raised here. There's a little game trays thing that holds it up, because you can have things that are lower than this, and we might see them when we go through that door over there. However, we're over here, and we have an archer over here, so first things first, we have to deal with them, and we have to read a little bit. So we'll talk about the hero that I'm playing here. This is Sun, the human monk. I went with the controller class type. So as a controller, she basically can do some healing. Like this passive ability, whenever an enemy dies, she heals 1. She heals 2 here and cleanses. We'll talk about cleanses coming up. 1 damage and stun, 2 damage and push 3. So she can kind of control the battlefield, is what I'm going for here. And then she has her different abilities. Now, each of these abilities that's not gray corresponds to one of these cubes. So if I put the colors of the cubes. Like this one is move 3 and focus. We're going to have to figure out what some of these abilities mean as we go along, but here we go. And I believe if I head over here, we have a cry for help. Well, before we get to that cry for help, let's read through the prologue. Ascension. A word coined to represent the state of mind, a person's soul. A righteous one reaches at the moment of their death, without the ties of the body and with a light conscience, for having lived a virtuous life. The ascended one rises into the sky and finds its place in the blanket of night, becoming one of thousands of stars that watch over Drunagor. An eternity spent in the truest fullness. You have never considered yourself the greatest of the faithful. And you even began to doubt that the promised and desired reward was true when you learned that you had been deprived of of the one person closest to you. For that loss, you have been racked with guilt, and there seems to be no remedy for that. Wandering the roads of the old continent, you arrive at a parish house near a village far from the big cities, a true sanctuary for travelers. You stood in the front of its doors for over an hour, unable to go in. But there was nothing wrong with it. The problem was within you. You didn't feel worthy of stepping into a holy place, not after what you had done. And so, all that was left for you to do was to surrender to tears under the late afternoon rain, and this would not be your first time. A great scholar once taught me that we are all stardust, says a priest who took care of the place after he had found you, dragged you into the building, and listened to your story over supper. I like that, because I feel like we are always in communion, even with those who have already embraced the earth. Your dearest one spirits may not have crossed the way of Arcana, but it may still be here, in the come and go of the seasons, just like us. And I like to believe that they too are at peace. It wasn't the first time you heard this sermon. However, you couldn't deny it. There was a little comfort in the thought. However, it's you I worry about, traveler, he continues. And you know, the most important thing he has to say would come next. The grief that afflicts those who remain when accompanied by guilt becomes an unbeatable force to lead someone astray. I see you are distressed that nothing can bring you comfort. However, this does not seem fair to you. No matter what you've done, if you fall to your knees and acknowledge your pain, it's a sign you can still find your way. You know that you only did what needed to be done, but that doesn't make your pain any less. A father, a sibling, a friend, a lover, being responsible for the departure of someone so close to you was not an easy thing to deal with. And there was nothing that could convince you that everything which had happened was not a great injustice, and that the world itself was to blame. The winds have changed, he continues. Even good people have become victims of despair. No soul seems to be prepared for the strange things that happen. More than ever, it is essential to do the right thing, to stick to the doctrine so you can find peace. You want to ask why. If it was true that you still feel so bad for doing the right thing, you want to ask why you still feel that something inside you was broken, out of place, making you wonder if what you've been taught all these years was the right thing, in fact. Was in fact the right thing. However, words fail you, and in the end, you just remain silent, brooding over the same thoughts you have brooded through the last cycle of moons. All that can be heard was a symphony of raindrops falling on the roof. Now, understanding the depths of your despair, your host does not speak another word. Neither does he leave you alone. Truth be told, that's just what you needed. Cry for help. A sharp, desperate scream awakens you in the middle of the night. It's still drizzling, but you remain dry, having fallen asleep in front of the fireplace in one of the parish house's rooms. Taken by an impulse, from whence you don't know where, you hurriedly gather your belongings and rush out the door into the woods in search of the source of the cry, determined to lend your aid. You don't know exactly where you are, but you know it isn't far from Black River, a small town in Eland's kingdom. It was precisely by following the aforementioned river that you came to this rural settlement. Cozy and hidden in the hills among dense pine forests, suddenly something buzzes past your ear, and you are alarmed to see an arrow thud into a tree right next to you, missing your forehead by just a few inches. You look into the woods ahead and spy the shooter as it prostrates itself on the ground. It resembles a skeleton bearing the ensign of a mira, carrying a short bow in its hands. You can't help but feel intrigued. This isn't the first time you've come across such a foe, and you certainly didn't expect to see another one here or now. After all, you believed that you had defeated the one responsible for the resurgence of such horrors. And indeed, it was the guilt you still carry from the confrontation that made you lose yourself out here in the woods. Could others also be involved? In truth, are not these creatures always under the command or judgment of some controller? Someone who has learned how to raise the dead and decided to take a kingdom for themselves. The more you reflect on these strange thoughts, the more confusing it all seems to you. A second arrow whizzes past you, this time grazing your arm, and you realize that these reflections are for another time. Someone needs your help. So then there are darkness spotting rules. And we set up our space. Now we set up our space and it tells you give yourself a good amount of room. If you could see the whole of my gaming table right now, and I could do this more efficiently if I wanted to, but the whole of it is covered. I have my camera kind of pointed down here at the midway point, but we have everything set up. Set up initiative track, chose our hero, got our weapons, prepare the storyboard, summon monsters. We have the monster's health. But first, before I go, the monster goes. So the monster has 4 movement and needs to be in an adjacent area to me. Now, for their areas, they need to be in the nearest large square to me, and any of these will do. But for movement, you count 1, 2, 3, 4. 3. They would stay there. And they're going to shoot me for 3. Now, I have these cubes here. And I could use it for cloth leather armor, since it has this little lightning bolt symbol. Which I think I'm going to do. I'm going to use a blue one. This can be any colored cube. A lot of the other ones are specific colored cubes. So I only take 1 damage. Take it down there. And that is their turn. Now, because I took a damage, I need to find a poison. Had I been able to block all of it, then I won't be taking poison damage, currently 1 turn. So, I'm up. I can move up to 3 and do that. And now I'm going to spend 2 cubes. Part of me wants to start by doing this and handing out a stun. Stun. I'm going to go to the rule book. And I like it. They have a glossary back here. Stun. When a stun effect is resolved at the beginning of a monster's turn, the monster loses its attack action from that turn and then removes the stun. It can still take its move. For heroes, you just lose one of your action cube actions. So by doing that, lowering the health by 1 there, they're not going to hit this time. So my second one, I'm going to go here, +0 to hit. I need to roll a 7+. Boom. 4 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, that's my turn. It's my turn. Then the enemy goes. We've gone through reactions in second round. Now, excuse me, this really should have something to drink anyways. This one, it's built, like this tutorial is built for another character with a different role than I have, but I'm going to follow along with what it does. So we remove the stun. Going to move up there so it can shoot me next time. And low kick. +3 to hit, which means I have to roll 4 better. Did it. No extra damage, so I'm only dealing 3. Still up, 1 hit point left. And it gets knocked down. So this is going to be a regular part of the game until you're used to it. So let me flip over here, see what the knockdown token looks like. I suspect what it is that compared to stun, there's have our knockdown token here. There are a lot of tokens. Compared to stun, knockdown Knockdown basically means he can't move. Next time he would try and move, this goes away. But I still have one more action here, which I need to look up this for the controller. Special attacks. Oh, it's always successful. Perfect. I guess that's how I played the first one. So I'm going to do this. Always successful. Boom. Off the board you go. And because I have self-assured, whenever an enemy dies, I heal 1. So we've beaten the skeleton archer, and now we can do the minor action of opening this door. This is a cool thing for this game in that you flip it open and you find out more. You push past your enemies, advancing through the bushes. Ahead, a small clearing serves as a garden hut. You see the silhouettes of 2 people through the broken windows, conjured by flickering lights of candles. Stay away! I'm not afraid of you. You hear an old lady snarl to an unwanted visitor. However, it seems your arrival has diverted their attention away from the woman. After all, determination glows in your eyes, and you are not a helpless grandma. So now, I'm going to get up, and this is going to put some shadow on it as I do this, but we're going to grab our dungeon tray, and we're looking for 2 of the maps here. So we're looking for map 3F. And then let me see, I might not be using the right tray here. C1B. No, not the right tray. Let me show off and get it apart. Come on. That tray has 2 different levels to it because we have and then B3 B. So you really get to build out pretty cool maps as you go. Alright, so to start, we can place treasure chest there. Then we need 2 more characters. This is gonna be blocking off some stuff again. We need I guess this one can actually just go here. Reset the health to 9. Then we want, I'm going to guess it's you. Cultist. Of course, I went with the orange one. And now I need to find, I'll move over again. Shadow Cultist Rookie. So both are going to act before I do. First the archer, then the cultist. All right, then we have some special rules to start about with darkness. So we busted open the door and got it all set up. So I already did our move action. Cube actions are done. So, enemy goes. I was figuring out how to do the step down into water here. Basically, it slows you down, as you'd expect. We're going to start with the archer. Can't hit me. And then we're going to start drawing runes. This, I believe, has to, if it can, cover me. So darkness. Let me verify. Where we start by placing darkness. All right. So I spawn it, I believe, differently than I did there. And it would break itself up like so off of our dear friend. It's the same shape, but different pattern to get it. And now they would move. And stop there as well. So darkness has gone. Now I need to rest. And I'm not sure that it has rules in here for resting. Never mind. Yeah, it doesn't look like it has rules for resting. So my understanding with resting, we're going to see if they have a nice little thing here. Somewhere. We got darkness. Let's verify darkness. Yeah. I thought it was the specific symbols for it. Then let's find our hero actions here. Don't care about that. Interact. Can search a chest. Could be trapped. Recall. As you take actions, you can choose to take the recall action during your turn if you have If you run out of action cubes at any point in the game, even outside of your turn, you must immediately take the recall action. This recall must be resolved as soon as possible, but without interrupting any other actions currently. So technically it would have happened before. And we don't have any ranged weapons, so we're going to start to cover up those. Of course, start my turn. Take that. And basically, as you cover up more things with fatigue, you get fewer and fewer options. You can cover up these passive ones. We're going to get there. And we're going to start out. How much health do you have? 9 for the cultist as well. We're going to stun the cultist. And then low kick the skeleton. Boom. 3 damage to Skeleton Man. Then Skeleton Man goes. Can't attack because he's not at range. And he can't move because knockdown. Knockdown goes away. They want to be adjacent to me, the cultist. So, well, I guess next thing next. Before that, darkness. Split it up. So, now we can look up some of these rules here for darkness because, well, it's going to matter. And standing on top of darkness means -2 to my attack roll. So I'm going to go over here and we're going to do Iron Fist. 8 succeeds, 4 damage to the skeleton. 1, 2, 3, 4. Almost dead. Yeah, we're gonna take out the skeleton. Boom, skeleton is gone. Forgot to take the damage. Get 1 back. Because I did make a melee attack, I could have ended up here as well. However, I didn't do anything to that cultist, which means that now they're going to get a go. And they're adjacent to me. So they can just straight up attack me for 4. I'll prevent 2. They're going to poison me, and poison can stack. flip side. And then fatigue. Fatigue is not one that I'm familiar with at this point. So, let's go back to our handy dandy glossary. Fatigue. Okay, so I have to expend an action cube, which technically I would have to do it now. And now I really need to get on top of this one and take him out. We're going to start with Iron Fist. And I forgot on their turn so before I do that, so I need to cleanse. Cleansing is the most important thing here, because cleanse not only gets one of these cubes off, deals with that poison. Then I want to check movement here, because I wonder if I've been doing it wrong. Page 22. Okay, yeah, so you can take multiple move actions, but the first one is free. And that's important because I can get out of the darkness and attack for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's going to be the turn. So cultist goes. You can see darkness is starting to creep over everything. They're going to be attacking for so much damage. I should have... Wait. So, since I attacked, I can move away from them. In case you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm just putting out the tokens. I think that matters later in the game, but I just saved my bacon a little bit because they're going to come up here. They're going to attack me for 4. I'm going to prevent 4 with reactions, which forces me to take a rest. But because I prevented all the damage, well, now I am forced to rest again. So they don't have that much health left. I need to do... You know what? We're going to start with the Iron Fist. There's a reroll with it. Didn't need it. That is 4. Takes him out. That stun was gone a long time ago. So cultist off the board. We've defeated everybody on the map. We're going to go back to the book here in a second. But first, I think there's anything super important you need to know about the order of these cards. So healing potion. You know what? It's minor action to use a consumable. Heal 6. I'm just doing it right away. So that token is gone. And then I'm looking for that interaction point. And we're going to use the actual book one versus the one in the tutorial, just because we're going to continue playing this campaign, at least a little while longer. You deliver the final blow to the last of the invaders. And finally, the surroundings seem safe to you. As their otherworldly screams fade into echoes, they are replaced by the shouts of villagers calling to each other in the dark. The battle has been won. Taking advantage of the calm, you approach your hosts, an older woman and a little girl. Naturally, they don't seem as calm as you are. After all, facing a crazed man and unearthed skeletons is not part of everyday life in the country. "Go away!" shouts the old woman, brandishing a knife in your direction as soon as you take the first step towards them. Interaction, book, page 5. As a group, choose one option. Step away and leave them alone. Try to calm the lady down or talk to the girl. You know, we're going to talk to the girl. We're going to engage the girl because I think the lady, stepping away from her is certainly an option, but I don't think it's going to get what we want. So, we're doing one. They should really tell you where this is. Seeing that the girl is terrified, you kneel next to her and greet her, asking her how she is doing. The older one pulls the girl even closer to protect her. She's fine. Go away. There in the fireplace. There's our family's jewelry. Take it for your service and leave us alone, she shouts at you, still pointing the knife in your direction. You face a dilemma. As a group, you and your partners must choose one option to proceed to its resolution. In case of a split decision, party leader, well, it's only me. Insist on talking to the girl. We could have either done that or just collected the jewelry. Realizing that the older woman's zeal results from despair, you ignore her and insist on talking to the girl. Outraged, the older woman carries out her threat, and in a fit of fury she stabs at you, forcing you to back down. She pulls the girl out of the cabin in a hurry, and all that's left of your meeting is a deep wound on your shoulder and a teddy bear that got lost in its owner's escape. Take teddy bear from the adventure deck. I think this is the adventure deck. I really do not know. I'm going to look for a teddy bear. Oh, it's a trinket. And a pretty good one at that. Whenever you draw a chest card, draw 2 cards and keep one of them, discard the other. So that potentially means it's just a passive ability with a teddy bear. And then we go back to page 10 to wrap up for tonight. They say this takes half hour. I could see that. A little later, you rejoin your host in the village square, as around him a caravan of just over 24 people begins to form. Hurriedly, women and men pile everything they own onto a few carts that are here. I saw how you left after hearing that desperate scream, my friend. If I'm not mistaken, this is the first time I've seen even a small smile on your face. He tells you while you help the villagers with their preparations. And you are calmer, even if you didn't realize it at first. Back there, you recall you forgot your anguish and focused only on helping, choosing virtue, doing what was right, acting like that was always natural to you. But now you can see that you had started to give up this conduct. I won't dare tell you what's best for you, as I believe it's up to each of us to figure that out. However, I can see that you want to move on, and maybe the cure for you isn't brooding over what was. The priest throws into the air. A few people I've seen run towards screaming dark. The adventure ends here. You may now proceed to Camp Phase and read after the adventure, Road to Black River. And we'll save that for next time. Gonna clean up a little bit here, but you don't need to watch me do that. So, thank you so much for watching. I mean, this is a beast of a game. There's going to definitely be a learning curve with what is going on here because, I mean, there's just so many things, potentially. And with the darkness, all the rules with that, definitely let me know if I missed something. If I did, try and correct it for the future. But thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this was fun. Hopefully it was fun to see, well, a new big game on the table. This actually has been out for a little bit, but Chronicles of Drunagor is not one that's easy to get your hands on unless you are, well, unless you backed. And I backed it on GameFound's second printing of it, so it is, I'm excited to see what comes of it. And like some of the things to note here is I've not seen anything where it says heal back up. That might be an option here. Not that one, but this one, can't phase. Recover all HP. But I did want to, I guess I could have kept the potion. Yeah, knowing that, and that's probably something I would have known, I would have kept this consumable. It's a potion. I don't see anything, like any particular spot over here to have it. It doesn't match up with the symbols, so I'm assuming I can just kind of collect a few of them. I doubt you can have too many. But initial, like just really quick initial thoughts after one game of this. I'm not sure what I think about it as a solo game. Now, I like the game. I like the 3D terrain. I like how the combat works, darkness works, all of that. But there's a lot to keep track of solo. And some of that is I'm still getting used to the rules, what they are. Just continue to collect a few things here. And as much as I like kind of some of their insert pieces, there's other things where, like the Shadow Cultist and the Skeleton Archer, you really have to dig to find them. Does look like I got the right person as the Shadow Cultist, though. Figuring ways. So, a lot of stuff that I like. I want to continue to play just to see maybe how the speed of play continues with this. Obviously, there was a lot of reading this time, too, with the prologue, with the start of the next chapter. We're going to have the rest session and then some reading, but I mean, you can see here over here it shows you kind of the map and it tells you where to start building. So like, I don't know how big some of these are gonna get, so that'll be interesting as well, because it is a table hog. It takes up a ton of room. I like the scale of the game. Don't get me wrong. This is a nice size. This is a very standard size scale. But because of all the different possibilities, it takes up a ton of room. Well, with that, thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think after watching a playthrough? Is this one that you enjoy? Is this one that maybe like you're glad you skipped it? It's another big campaign game, and I mean, I'm always going to pick them up, but yeah, let me know what you think. And I'm going to have to figure out if I need more room on the table, how to set some stuff off to the side here so that I can get that space that I need. Well, with that, thank you so much for watching. Again, pretty sure that's the third time I've said it, but if you want to know when I go live, generally every Monday at 8:30 p.m. and every Wednesday here at 8 p.m. Wednesdays are for the campaign game, and Mondays, it varies week by week. Currently, I'm going through my top 100 games of all time, and I'm down to 30 through 21 next Monday, and then 2 more weeks after that. So if you want to join in and see what those top games are, please do so. And I look forward to seeing you there, chatting with people. It's always a good time. With that, see you next time.